So now we continue our topic about reflection. So when you have reflection, there are actually two kinds of reflection. One is what we call a specular, or another term for it is regular reflection. And the second one is diffused or irregular reflection. So as you can see in my illustration, specular reflection happens when the incident rays, a lot of incident rays, are reflected at the same angles. Okay, such as this one. You see the green lines are the incident rays, and then the blue light rays are the reflected rays. Now for diffuse reflection or irregular reflection, what happens is you have regular incident rays, but the reflected rays are scattered in different directions. So again, when the light rays are reflected in a uniform manner, it's called regular reflection. But if the light rays are scattered in different directions after hitting the surface, we call it diffused reflection. Now, you might be thinking, didn't we have a law of reflection that dictates what the angle of the reflected ray is? Then how come you have two types of reflection? Doesn't this violate that law? Well, actually no, because if we look at the microscopic surface for objects that do regular reflection, such as your mirrors, these things are very, very smooth, okay, such that the effect is this. But when you have diffused reflection, what happens is the surface is actually microscopically rugged, okay? And so when a light ray hits this part, it will still follow the law of reflection, but now its surface is at different orientation with this light ray, because now the angle, if you could focus on that part, you see the surface that this light ray hits is at this angle. I'm going to highlight with the red. Okay? But the angle of the surface that's hit by the second light ray is this. So you can see the angles of the surface that the two light rays are hitting are actually different. So obviously, even if this light ray follows the law of reflection, and it would be reflected at the same angle as what it forms when it hits it, and this one also follows law of reflection, the angles would not be the same. Not because they don't follow the law of reflection, but because their surfaces are different, because objects that do irregular reflection are usually not smooth. So basically, these are the objects that are rough. Unlike when you have a mirror, for example, in which the surface is really smooth even in the microscopic level. So obviously, if you have light rays that hit this part and also a light ray that hit this part, the surface that the first light ray hits is at this angle, and the surface that the second light ray hits is also at the same angle. And obviously, when you follow the law of reflection, that means this one is going to be reflected that way, this one is also going to be reflected that way. And so, and hence, this from our macroscopic view seems to be, the light rays are seen to be reflected regularly in a regular manner, while in diffused reflection it's not. Now, this type of reflection happens in smooth objects such as mirrors, such as when you have a surface of water that is very still. And because of that type of reflection, you can actually see your face in those surfaces. So specular or regular reflection is important because without this type of reflection, you wouldn't be able to see images of yourself in smooth surfaces. But that doesn't mean that diffused or irregular reflection is not important. In fact, if truth be told, this is even more important than regular reflection because the mechanism by which we can see all things is because of diffused reflection. So say for example you have this object, it's get hit by light rays from all over the place, and the light rays are reflected diffusely. So there's a light ray reflected that way, this way, and all those directions. And so if you have a person at this side, that person can see the eraser. If you have a person on that side, that person can also see the eraser, because the light rays are diffused scattered in different directions, right? But if you have a plane mirror, since the reflection is only in a single angle, then if you have a mirror here, and then you have this one, a person coming from here could see this because of the reflection. But if a person is over here or over here, the light ray that it will see will be at this side, so it can't be able to see, or he can't see the eraser. So again, specular or regular reflection is important in forming images in smooth surfaces such as mirrors, but as to our day-to-day experience of seeing things, it's because of diffused or irregular reflection.